Ladies and gentlemen, huge news. Apex Legends swimsuit skins are potentially on the way to Apex Legends, and it's just been teased. We have a lot to give you right here in this podcast today. We're going to go through the news, we're going to go through where the teaser came from, and we're also going to go through a few articles and what I think about this, and let's discuss this change that's coming to Apex Legends. Swimsuits in Apex Legends for the Apex Legends. Let's talk about it. First, let's talk about the teaser. So we're going to talk about where this teaser came from, how I discovered it, and how we learned that Apex Legends may have swimsuit skins on the way. So here's the confirmation, just to let you know that this is real, this is not a hoax. I will always make sure that there is a credible source where we're getting the information from. And this source was Twitter. So on Twitter, Apex Legends, the official account for Apex Legends, tweeted this tweet. Okay. Here's the deal. If this post gets 10k likes, we'll add the swimsuit skin. So, what's being said right there is that they already have these skins in development and designed, and they've worked on them, and they have plans potentially to bring these skins to the game. Now, at the moment, that tweet has 84,000 likes. So that is over 10k likes. So it's more or less confirmed that these skins will be coming to Apex Legends. Not only that, the tweet itself has 6.2 million views. It was posted last night at the time of me creating this podcast episode right here on YouTube. March 2022 of 2023, this tweet went out at 6 p.m. I'm trying to get the time right because it's 2 minutes past 6 p.m. on a night is when this was tweeted, and I saw it a bit later on, but when I did, I was like, I have to share this, we have to talk about this. This is a big topic, and there's a lot to unpack here because we will be talking about what this means for the gaming community on a whole and why this is so popular. We're going to dissect everything here because there might also be some girl gamers who are also listening to this podcast as well, so I will shed some context as to the history behind why skins like this are absolutely loved and adored and looked for in the gaming community. It is an absolute brilliant thing that Apex have really put their pulse, they put their thumb on the pulse of the gaming community, and they understand that this is a demand and this is in demand, and there is a huge, absolute huge gap in the market for swimsuit skins and a little bit of that attractive appeal to the skins and in gaming. I mean, gaming doesn't have to be a really bread and butter sort of thing. It doesn't really have to be just a really dry area in terms of being able to show some skin. So with your skins in your game, it's really a nice appeal for the gamer. No matter if you're male or female or what you're attracted to, it gives a different feel and flex to the game. There's another reason, it's just adding another reason to play the game. If you've got an attractive looking skin like Loba in a swimsuit costume, I mean, could you really imagine? I mean, at the moment, Loba is definitely going to be a focal point here, but there are also some other skins as well. So I won't just, talk about just the female skins in this. I'll talk about the male skins as well. We'll talk about why that could be appealing to the people who are into males and having a male skin in a swimsuit skin. So this isn't just about objectifying a sex or a gender. This is going to be about a whole scope of the picture. So there are also articles about this already that have emerged. There's so many different articles and things as well. We'll be going through that as well in this podcast. We're going to do that right now actually at this point. So at this point, let's have a look at some of the articles that have emerged. So there is one article that is that reads, Apex Legends teases long-awaited swimsuit skin. So we've just told you about the source of where this came from. I've told you about the amount of likes that it has, and they did say that if it gets 10k likes. Now I was sharing this out straight away. I did not wait. I was like, I need my community to get on this straight away because this is something that's going to be absolutely huge for Apex Legends. Now, the fact that they teased this was just probably to get the community sort of livened up and sort of get them knowing that Apex have made it a priority for these skins to be in existence. They have been developing and working on Apex Legends as well. There have been some changes internally for Respawn and EA before this announcement came. So there is some huge changes that have come to Apex Legends. I mean, right now on my screen, I have Loba doing the crush it emote, which I was just touching on slightly earlier in this podcast just now. The crush it emote, I mean, is really good for the curves of Loba right there. And yeah, so let's dive into this article. So Apex Legends teases long-awaited swimsuit skins is what this article reads. It was written literally last night at the time of when I was sharing that tweet out. So it's really top-notch news right now. You're getting it right from the moment that it happens. I'm making sure that you are getting this news straight away. Apex Legends swimsuit skins, ladies and gentlemen. This article reads, Apex Legends may be finally adding swimsuit skins to the game. And addition that would finally fulfill one of the long-running requests with the community. So this is the long-running request of the community. The community have been clamoring and absolutely like scratching at the walls for these skins. Now, there is a sort of a thing in terms of marketing and advertisement where they have a opinion about what we are interested in, and when they have that opinion, sometimes they can pull back their advertisement money because they feel like we're objectifying either the opposite sex or so forth. The problem with this is everybody, if you are human, will have an impulse. Now, the thing about gaming is great for your impulses because it can help you to have them under control and have an outlet. Gaming is an outlet, and if it's done in tasteful nature, then there is definitely a huge market gap that is not being touched on there. I literally have 500,000 views on a YouTube short of Chun-Li, Fortnite Chun-Li doing party hips, and that is because there is a huge market gap there for a little bit of appeal. Now, Chun-Li is fully clothed in that short, but what the appeal of that short actually is me enjoying those party hips and showing them off to other gamers to see their reaction. Now, that is literally the appeal of those 500,000 views of that one YouTube short. I knew this when I recorded the moment because when I was going through the moment, I was just being authentic and naturally myself with the situation and just making players react to it and having a lot of fun with it. That is what was the appeal of that short and what made that short go semi-viral into the way it did with 500,000 views. So as you know, these are huge market gaps that some games can take advantage of with just having a little bit of curvature to your female and even your male skins, because Red Hood is also an appeal as well. Red Hood in Arkham Knight, and the reason why he is because he has a different body set to what we're used to. He's not the really plain Jane sort of skin. He has curves to him, and there's a little bit of chubsy to him or muscle mass to him, which makes him different, which makes him stand out, which makes an appeal for the gaming audience, whether it be an attractive sort of impulse, or it's just because you like the representation of a different body form, a different body curvature in the game. Whether it's for you're looking at it for the representation point of view, or you're attracted to the skin for another reason, it is there and it's actually represented. Now, female representation in gaming, as you know, is already a huge topic that we could go hours and hours on. Females are represented in different ways in the games that we play, and I feel like there are some advantages of women in games that have been around for absolute decades in the gaming industry and made some games an absolute hit just because of those females in that game. For example, Lara Croft. People were lusting after Lara Croft in the early 90s, well, let's say like mid 90s, for years, for absolute years, and there were actually little hints and game designs around Lara Croft to over-exaggerate some of her curves, or there were hidden secrets where you could, you know, lust after her just a little bit more because there was this secret, if you press this little command, she would do certain movements, and this would get gamers playing for absolute hours. It's literally the attention of the gamer being paid to that product, being paid to that game for hours and hours on end, and it's done in a tasteful way. Now, a swimsuit is a swimsuit. It's literally something you would wear to go swimming in. It is a functional piece of clothing. So when you're wearing that functional piece of clothing, of course, some of your curves or your body frame will be on show because you can't really go swimming in a whole load of clothes. So even if the 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 marketers and the people who are against these things in media, because this is literally a form of media. Gaming is a form of media you're consuming. It's just like when you're watching a movie or a TV show. There are going to be a swimsuit scene in a movie or a TV show, and it's going to be rewatched over and over again. This is the same for gaming, and we shouldn't allow people that don't understand gaming to come into the industry and tell you that you cannot put a swimsuit in a game. That is literally censoring human nature. When you're in the human nature of things, you should not censor that out of that piece of media, because it's literally like, what do you want me to do? Not show my face because it's a certain color and people are attracted to that color? What should I do? Not show my arm because people are attracted to my arm and it's a certain shape? That doesn't make any sense in terms of marketing, and that is where advertisers should really think about how tasteful something is, and that's the actual thing that would be the issue. For example, this is not porn. If it was porn, and porn does have its own money, by the way, and porn makes a lot of money. This is not porn. This is literally just a type of clothing that is being put over a skin, and people can use that in a different way to over accentuate some of the curves. There is no sexual activity that is being done throughout the entire game, and we need to stop being so soft on the topic in terms of gaming. And there is not actually anything of a sexual nature that's being done in that game to make it distasteful. So keep that in mind. I'm really absolutely proud of Respawn and EA Games for noticing this and then taking the front foot in this category of gaming and in this appeal of gaming, and really stepping forward and making this change and going for it, because they have their thumb on the gaming community, and they understand that when a gamer is paying a lot of attention to a game, you're literally like, it's like you like, for me, for example, the gaming industry is really a part of what I'm doing in my career and my future and what I intend to do, and more of what I intend to do, and I share that with you guys, and we enjoy it together, right? We enjoy my passion, and we enjoy each other's passion of this product and of this industry together, right? And we love it because we're able to enjoy it. When you're not able to enjoy it, then everybody pulls away. When there's no enjoyment and there's no passion left because it's been sucked dry, because we're in some future, dystopian future where you're not allowed to say or do or move in a certain direction or show a curve or anything like that, then all of the passion, all of the little crevices, all of the culture, all of the love and the joy and the passion gets sucked right out. And I'm so proud of Epic, and Epic as well, because Epic have also done a good job with some of the skins that they've also presented as well, and how they've allowed some of the curvature of a woman to be in a game, right? But also, I'm proud of Respawn and EA for going in this direction and finally listening to the community. And I'm glad that they've actually had this on the back foot that they've been sort of thinking about, and now they've decided to be like, yes, this is the time for us to get our swimsuit skins out and start bringing that to the community, because the community wants it. Now, I did mention in a previous podcast episode that this was an issue in multiverses. Now, I danced around the fact that this was an issue in multiverses, and the skin that was an issue with was the Hula Velma. Like, Hula Velma has a little bit of skin on show, and people were really excited about that, but she can't be purchased again. So one issue that I don't want this to, one thing that I don't want this to be is not being available for long enough. Right, so of course swimsuit skins are gonna be a really, really big thing. Even if they were to put the way that you would get a lot of gamers to come back into Apex Legends right now with this change in these swimsuit skins, is to put it behind a progression wall. If you was to put the Loba swimsuit skin alone, I'm going to touch on the other characters as well, by the way, because there are some really good things that are going to come out of this in terms of other skins having swimsuit outfits. But of course, Loba is going to be one of the most popular because of how many curves that she's got, right? So if you was to put Loba behind a progression wall, right, in a swimsuit skin, and when you complete those challenges, you get Loba in a swimsuit costume, I guarantee you the numbers of gamers that will be playing Apex Legends will skyrocket. It would be through the roof. It would go insane, because people would be like, oh my days, yes. The numbers would skyrocket, especially of the males that already game, because the gaming industry at the moment is dominated by male numbers. There are more female gamers. Now, some of them have been trying to grieve me in games, and I actually really did appreciate it. I'm not even going to say that it's a bad thing, but when, as a content creator, sometimes you might get somebody who wants to collab with you or wants your attention for a reason, and they might grieve you in a game. For example, I was playing Call of Duty at one point not last night, it was a couple of nights ago, and I had a female gamer that was grieving me for like game after game after game, and I think it's because she maybe wanted to communicate something, or she just or there was something that she wanted, and then like, you know, it just didn't come to be because it was too late and I just wanted to go to bed. But the thing is, like, the what tends to happen is the female gamers tend to be really, really good at the game, and she was really, really good at the game. I did manage to get the best of her at the end of those matchups, but it's just like a little point that I wanted to make. The female gamers are having to work very, very, very hard in order to build their personal brands and create their spaces within the gaming industry, right? And also, one thing that actually, you know, tends to happen is you might have some OnlyFans gamers that are trying to also make their space, or some Twitch female gamers as well, that are also trying to build their brand, and then they tend to lean into what male gamers are interested in. So one thing that these swimsuit skins do is it helps those types of gamers as well, because you're getting a version of yourselves represented in the game, which is actually really, really helpful to those gamers, because it goes to show that, you know, females are a part of the community as well. And it's a huge part of the community. We love females, and you should be here to stay, and you should know that. And this is why this representation is also really, really important. So that's something I would also wanted to talk about as well, because we love females, and there are, you know, depending on your sexuality as well, there's representation of that in gaming. Now, we haven't focused too hard on that at the moment, because that isn't something that I've really stepped into that conversation. I haven't stepped into any sexuality conversation. I've sort of just kept this in a neutral lane in terms of the attraction of the skin. For example, the Chun-Li skin, you know, I'm putting it out there. Whoever reciprocates it, that's on your terms of who you are. I'm not discriminating against who reciprocates and who appreciates the curves of, for example, a Loba skin in a swimsuit skin. I'm not saying it's just males that are looking. I'm not saying it's one sexuality that's looking, but I am saying it's definitely a need, and it's definitely something that gamers want on a whole. It doesn't matter who or where you're from or what your sexuality is. There is a huge market for a swimsuit skin in Apex Legends. Let's go further in this article while we dissect. So there's more in this article here. It says Apex Legends finally adding those swimsuit skins. We've just gone over that. And it also says that now, sometimes jokingly and sometimes serious, and the response to Apex Legends tweet about the topic proves that there is definitely an interest in these skins, even its interest fueled by part of the memes. Right, so of course, I've said this, and I've said this time and time again, and I hope developers are listening to when I've mentioned this. The fantasy of gamers is sometimes so profitable, and it's so alluring, and it's so wanted and in demand, that you should lean into those fantasies, because that's what we want from you. When we play a game and we're like, oh man, I really wish this game would have ABC. That's us telling you, developers, telling you all what we really, really want, right? Then a developer has a chance to be like, okay, so how do we present this to our community, to our gamers? How do we allow this to be a thing? Do you put it behind a progression wall? Do you put it behind a paywall? Do you put it in a limited time only mode? That is then up to you of how you decide to profit from that. But you do have to understand that if it's way too difficult and it's like a measuring stick. You need to measure how much gamers are willing, and how much time gamers are willing to put into earning that thing, right? But if it's behind a really high payment threshold, you need to understand that you need to make that worthwhile. Like, if it's going to cost £50 for swimsuit skins right now, I feel like that would be a really bad idea, because what would happen is you're literally having to buy a game, right? So games right now, they cost around about 50-60, you know, on an average game, average AAA game, said about 50-60, is going up, but of course that's going to be the price range I'm going to say at the moment, because most of the games in that category are around about that price, even though they are getting more expensive in those terms, they are slightly higher. But if you was to have to pay a whole game's worth, then what's going to happen is those skins, which is an asset of a game, is going to be compared to that game. You know, it's just literal, it's logistics then at that point. You're going to look at it and be like, why am I having to pay a whole game for those skins? Now, I'm not going to say that there isn't some skins that would be worth that, because there might be skins that are worth that maybe, I don't know, like I'm not sure, like myself, I'm not 100% sure on that right now. There might be, right, but I do know Apex Legends, the timing of this is really, really good for the Apex community and the gaming community on a whole, and the voices are being heard, and that social media post, it went up quickly, and when I noticed it, I was like, I have to get this out to my viewers on YouTube. I have to let you guys know in the podcast episode. I have to let you guys know. I'm going to get this out there to you. I'm not going to make you miss out. I am going to talk about this for you guys, and we're going to dissect it and talk about it, and we're going to go for the articles and more. Let's keep going, because I'm getting fired up. Right, so let's keep going now. So Respawn tweeted, and it's talking about the tweet here, and it's talking about the swimsuit skin and what day it was released. That 10,000 likes at that point while this was written, so I was already ready and pumped. I went to sleep on it first. Right, so what I did is I went to sleep first, because I wasn't going to have the energy in order to put this out to you properly, but now I do. I'm awake, and I've had my coffee, and I'm ready to pump up and tell you what's going on and dissect it and give you that passion, so we can talk about the swimsuit skins, baby. We haven't even touched on them yet. We're just talking about the Loba skin just alone and what's going on with the articles, bro, and sis. Alright, so let's keep going. Right, so it's talking about the hits and the amount of views and what was happening. Now, I retweeted it, and I also gave, what I was like is, attention all thirsty gamers that are ready for the jiggly. that's literally what I said. I said, attention all gamers that are ready for the jiggly. Alert, alert, alert. Retweet and like this tweet. I was like, get on it. This is the time, bro. We've been waiting for these things and waiting for these assets, so we can have fun with these assets. We can provide and create content with these assets. We can then share these assets and have fun with these assets and create moments with these assets, and then also create a whole community around these assets, baby. And this is what we want to do with it, and this is what should be allowed to express our feelings towards a swimsuit skin. You know what I mean? It's like when, if you're not allowed to see certain things in real life, then gaming can create that fantasy. It's like, that's the reason why it's so alluring in the first place. You're able to create these fantasies and these amazing things inside of these universes, and create your own scenarios inside of these universes, whether it would be based on a film, a comic book property, a book, or just something that is completely original. We are able to create these fantasy moments and these scenarios with inside a game, and that's what makes the game so appealing. It's one of the reasons, but of course there is also things like the actual gameplay, how it plays, how it feels, all those sort of things as well. But the actual fantasy is really, really in the next 10 years, and these 10 years is going to be one of the biggest things of the gaming community, the gaming industry, that is going to stand out compared to any other industry. You cannot go to a producer of a TV show and tell them, I think the story should go in this direction and not the direction you're going in. You cannot go to a radio station manager and say, I think your show should have this type of music, and this is what I think would need to change in terms of the scheduling of your shows. You cannot go to a movie producer and go, the third movie should deter away from the original property and the script in this direction to go and do that. You cannot do that, and there's many different reasons why you cannot do that, because it will also go against the vision of the director, the writers, and all these people that get paid so much money in order to produce that story in the way that they want, in the way that they need, and in the way that they are paid to do. So these things are not applicable, because when you do that, you are then undermining all of the effort that's put behind it. But not only that, there is so much pre-production and post-production that is done and is interlocked and weaved together to create a product so that it's successful. And when you go into that, if you then damage the numbers because of the different changes that you've made to that product, that movie, then of course that goes against you. You are causing harm to the production and all sorts. But one thing that you can do in gaming is you can actually prove that something is profitable. You can prove that something is wanted by a community of the viewers and so forth. You can literally prove that something is actually a demand and a gap in the market, and you can get your figures when you're on a platform like what I'm on right now. You can literally get your numbers for that thing that you are saying is profitable, saying is worthwhile, saying is in demand, saying is a market gap that can be taken further and explored more, and you can literally get your numbers. So that's why it's always important when I'm making these podcast episodes or these videos or these episodes for you, it's really important when you share that thumbs up, because it's helping when I'm creating these things that I want to do, because it's got those numbers and I can show, look, the gaming community want this specific thing right here. Here's the numbers. Here's where I can show you. These are the amount of thumbs up. These are the amount of things that's right here. So yeah, so let's go further back into Apex Legends right now. So we're going through this article now, and we're getting some more information from this article because we're dissecting the articles that have been written as well. Now this is it doesn't need to be such a credible source, because even though it is, but the article doesn't really need to be a credible source, because we literally have the original source of the information, so we can compare the original source of the information and what the article is saying as well. There was another article we're going to go over in a moment as well. So going further in this article, it then goes how they'll implement is another question. So yeah, so how it's executed in the game, we've just touched on that slightly. How it's executed in the game will actually decide whether if these swimsuit skins are a success or not. Now, because what's going to happen is there's two sides to the coin here. You're going to have people that are going to purchase these skins anyway, because the allure and the target audience really, really want these skins, right? There's going to be people that are going to purchase it, even if you put £100 on it. If you put £100 on these skins, you're going to have people that are going to buy them, right? But that could also harm the majority of people that want it, right? Because they won't be able to afford that, and then that price war then becomes an issue, right? And I've just mentioned that. So that's what's meant by the execution and how it's implemented. So if it's put behind a progression wall, there are loads of pro Apex players that would love for it to be put behind a progression wall. For example, could you imagine if one was put behind like each type of the game, right? So let's say like this is what's called, this would be an absolute versatile implementation. Let's say you have one swimsuit skin that's put behind the ranked Apex game mode, right? No price, just you have to rank up by a certain amount of ranks in order to unlock that skin. Wow, that's one. Let's say that's Octane in a swimsuit costume, right? The ranked version. Then you'd say in public battle royale mode, get third place, get first or second place in 20 games, and that gets you Lifeline in a swimsuit costume. I mean, could you? Do I need to say more with that? Like, Lifeline in a swimsuit costume for that one. And then you would have some in the store that are specific to the store. Loba, that cost you certain amount in the store. You see what I mean? So that's what will be a complete versatile way of implementing these skins. We don't know as well which legends, so which characters in Apex Legends will have these skins available. We don't know if it's only going to be certain skins. We don't know if Mirage is going to get a swimsuit costume. We also don't know what it's going to look like. So let's say we get a Valkyrie swimsuit costume. We don't know what that's going to look like. Then comes into play the design. The design is going to be another thing. The design is going to be a completely different element of this. If it's executed wrong and it's executed, and it's not showing any skin at all of that character, then there's going to be an issue, because if they're completely covered in some random swimsuit costume that is like a scuba diving outfit, for example, then the community is going to be like, that could have been so much better. I have noticed some of the design has slightly changed with some of the updates, and I noticed that today. Like when I jumped into Apex Legends Just, I have it on my screen right now, so I have the context. But when I jumped into Apex Legends Just, I was like, okay, these swimsuit skins are about to be released at some point. At some point, these skins are coming. It's now more or less confirmed that these skins are coming. So I was like, well, with the popular pics of this, it's like which skins have changed in their design. Now, of course, one of the first ones I looked at was Loba. Now, I have noticed, even though it might not be the case, but looking at her now, I would say that some of her curves, specifically her hips, have slightly changed. Now, she leans to one side naturally when she stands still because she's using a cane. She's more like a mistress. You know how Loba is. You know her character by now. She has a long cane and she lusts for money, right? And she has a lean. She leans with her cane that she uses, and you already know that she steals a lot, right? But her curves have slightly changed. Her hips and thighs are slightly thicker than they were before, which is a great detail, and it's a good push in that direction, and that's a good direction. Now, she isn't the most busty of all of the skins. Now, of course, there are other skins that have a more busty look, and we will go over the males as well. Don't you worry. So I'm not picking out just one gender here, so you can't say that I'm being what's the word? I'm discriminating. So I'm not discriminating here. Valkyrie, for example, one thing that people like about her is her derriere, right? So when we're onto Valkyrie at the moment, if we look at her design, the thing is, most of her outfits that she does wear at the moment have a robotic aesthetic. They have something that's like, for example, she has a metal breastplate that she wears on many of her outfits. I'm just going to click into it now so we have more of an idea of what I'm talking about. But she's very much covered from her chest down. Now, her derriere, for example, is where she's normally quite exposed. But in terms of what she actually has in terms of her skin, and she needs in terms of her skin, wearing a swimsuit costume wouldn't be practical, right? And we know this, like, because it's like swimsuit costumes as it is anyway wouldn't be practical for what the Legends are doing. It's that fantasy of what we want in the game as opposed to what is actually within character for what those characters are doing. The reason why I say this and the reason why I know this is because if you go back to Apex Legends Season 11, they were actually on a beach in the start of that season. It's the one where Ash was introduced. So Season 11 of Apex Legends, Ash was introduced, and the trailer, Mirage was on a beach. He's just got on a beach bed, and just before he gets on a beach bed, there is fuse that comes out of the water. Now, the background music, just to jog your memory a little bit for those Apex Legends fans who know what I'm on about, the background music to this trailer is a version of Bob Marley, Don't Worry. I think that's the name of the song. I should know because it's something that my granddad would play, but it's a Bob Marley song that's playing in the background, and Fuse noticeably comes out of the water. Now, Fuse is topless when he comes out of the water because he's literally inside the water on a vacation during the start of that trailer. It's not a gameplay trailer, it's more of like a cinematic trailer, and Ash takes out a lot of the Legends. Now, that would be a swimsuit costume. What he's wearing is within context, but the other Legends that appeared in that trailer were not wearing anything swimsuit orientated, and I did notice that some Legends didn't appear at all, and some of the Legends that didn't appear at all at that point, and this is the reason why these skins might have been in production all the way back then, some of them are the most requested in terms of needing or wanting a swimsuit. For example, Lifeline didn't really appear in that trailer. Wraith did not appear in that trailer. There were some that did appear that would be really funny and humorous in a swimsuit costume. So again, how it's implemented would be something really comedic if it's done right as well. So there's also a humorous side of this as well. For example, could you imagine Revenant in a swimsuit costume? And he's talking really He's talking really, really seriously, but he's wearing a Speedo. Like, it would just be like, he's a robot, right? So, but he's like, really, his voice is really, really deep and he's really, really serious. Right? Could you imagine Revenant in a swimsuit costume? Another really hilarious one that I think would be quite funny would be, of course, Pathfinder. Now, Pathfinder has some hilarious skins already anyway, because he's got the he's got the screen on his chest, right? And he can put different logos on his chest. Now, would it be hilarious, right, if Pathfinder had a bikini as what's on his screen for that? Apex, if you are listening, please, when you create the Pathfinder, the Pathfinder swimsuit skin, get a bikini logo on that screen for Pathfinder, because I swear that would be absolutely hilarious. Could you imagine him literally just having a bikini logo on that screen just there? That would make that worthwhile. I know that people would pay for that. That'd be hilarious. That's just some of the also hilarious versions of it as well. And don't sleep on Watson. Don't sleep on my girl Watson over here as well. Watson can also have a little bit of appeal to herself as well. She's got those curves, and she also has like a timid outlook as well. So maybe she could put a different twist on how her personality fits inside of a bikini. I mean, is she self-conscious about it, or is she free and willy-nilly and wants to dance around in a bikini? That would also be a different way that this can be implemented, because then a personality can really make the aesthetic. It makes, you know, it gives it a different twist. You know, she does have a timid stance, but her personality is more intellectual. So it's like, how would she be implemented? Would she have her hair down? Right, because I know that if we go through most of Watson's skins, she has her head quite covered. Now, in a bikini, when she's going swimming, will she still have, will she be wearing a swim cap? So she might be wearing a swim cap, because most of the time you can't actually see Watson's hair at all. Now, I know there have been some comic adaptations of Apex Legends as well, where the legends have had different looks, but as far as I remember, I don't remember seeing Watson with her hair down or hair out at all. I have not seen her blonde wavy locks out of her protective gear at all. So it's also going to give the legends a different feel and a different look. It's going to completely change the way we see the Apex Legends. Their characters are going to completely have a different look. There is literally no skin available at the moment for Watson where she has her hair out, right? But of course, swim caps are a thing. So with the design of these skins as well, these swimsuit skin versions of these characters, what will their assets be? Like, will Watson be wearing swimming goggles? You know, because there's some characters that have their eyes covered quite a lot, and with the robotic skins, like it gives it a completely different feel to him. I mean, one character that I think that we're also sleeping on as well, I'd say she's quite a new-ish legend, is Vantage. Now, Vantage is she's the sniper specialist, the survivor sniper, right? When we look at her body frame, she's quite thick. She's quite a thick character. Like, her limbs are quite thick from what we can see. But is that due to the gear that she's wearing and the cargo trousers she usually wears? Because she usually wears like thick cargo trousers. Now, when you're putting her in a swimsuit outfit, will she actually be that size, or will she be quite slimmer underneath all of the gear that she's wearing? Because she's quite propped up with the amount of gear that she's wearing. And also, will all of the legends have swimsuit outfits? We don't know yet if all of the legends will have a swimsuit variation, a swimsuit outfit for what is delivered here. And not to mention, if the swimsuit outfits are just specific to some legends, will that go down well with the community? Because I don't think that would be a good idea. I feel like you should have like a whole package of each legend having a swimsuit outfit. I feel like that would be the best direction to go in. The store could completely change as well, because while I think that is, in the store at the moment, you have a few categories. You have special, hold on, let me go back. You have special, featured, monthly, Apex packs, and then your mythics, right? Mythics are going to be nothing to do with it, but it would, imagine having a completely different mythic, which is like, you know, beach, It's like a beach version, and it's available for all legends. Like, imagine that. And it's just like a robotic beach ball or something that like explodes or something. Right. So of course, like, will there be one that's available in just an Apex Legends pack, one legendary item? Of course, that will get people buying that legendary item. If it's one that's completely locked off, that could be completely frustrating for the gamers. Will it be a monthly? Because at the moment you have your monthly items that are also available in Apex Legends, and these monthly items normally rotate as well. For example, Captain Bamboozle is currently in the monthly item store. I have Captain Bamboozle because I have a pirate aesthetic that I use in Apex Legends occasionally, so it does fit, of course. When we go in through the rest of the store with your featured, now the featured page, it only has a few slots. There is only literally a few slots in the featured page. You have limited time, which rotates, and there's only 2 slots. So they do rotate, so you can kind of go through to see, for example, there's a gun skin that I'm having a look at now, and I'm just hovering over it and changing it to have a look. And there's 2 versions of that gun skin. There's different prices that are rotated there. There's 2 slots for the limited time. Will these swimsuit skin outfits for our legends be a limited time? Or will they be featured for a long time? Because this is really going to really put to the test the ability to showcase skins in Apex Legends. Because when I click on a skin at the moment, for example, if I click on the Alabaster Titan bundle, right, you get your preview of the skin in the outfit, which is quite still in like a dummy position, and you actually can't zoom in. Now, I understand why you would have that and you would have it static, but this might be the time to, give a different, a different approach to that, and maybe give us the ability to zoom in on these skins in terms of when it's being showcased in the item shop. It might help with the sales. Just a little side note there. It might help with the sales of these skins, and it might help people see the details of what they are purchasing in terms of these skins. Right, so we have to have a look back into Legends before we go back into some other articles, because there are some more articles that break it down even further, and we will be talking about that as well. Loba being one of the most high picks of the swimsuit skins, but there are some more here that we need to dissect. So we've gone over Fuse and we've gone over some of the robotic versions of the skins, but there are some that may have some issues. For example, now Bloodhound. Now Bloodhound, as we know, hasn't had a face reveal. There has been no face reveal for Bloodhound. Bloodhound, as far as we know, him or her, I'm not even sure if Bloodhound is female or male. I'm not 100% sure. I remember there was like a comic of Bloodhound. Maybe someone can share it in the comics. Maybe someone can share it in the comments if Bloodhound is male or female. But what we do know of Bloodhound, in terms of the aesthetic and how Bloodhound looks in Apex Legends, is Bloodhound does not reveal the face at all. There is no reveal of Bloodhound's face. Right, there is actually so much work to be put in terms of how this is going to be implemented and executed in Apex Legends, because if you go through every single one of Bloodhound skin variations, all the variants of Bloodhound, no matter if it's epic, standard, or a legendary skin, you will see that Bloodhound always is covered. And it's because part of the ability of Bloodhound, I'm not even going to try and speculate if I don't have 100% the accurate information here. But I'm just going to say Bloodhound has his head and his face covered. Now, when you're trying to make a swimsuit costume of Bloodhound, how are you going to implement that? Are you going to do it so his head is still covered and wearing the same outfit gear that he's normally wearing, but with the swimsuit outfit? Is Bloodhound male or female? How are you going to execute that right there? Because I think the last time we saw Bloodhound without the sort of mask gear on is in a comic that was introduced in an earlier season of Apex Legends. But when that was done, it was an infant. Well, I'm just going to say infant because I'm not actually sure if Bloodhound is male or female. Now, some of you might already chime into the comment section and be like, oh, it's non-binary or male or female, and I don't actually know, so I'm not going to say either or. But I do know that Bloodhound always, and has always, since the beginning of Apex Legends, other than that one comic that was introduced, had the face and the head covered, right? So that's one thing that really needs to. It's going to be really interesting to see how that's implemented. Because not only that, we also have the gear that comes along with it as well. For example, another one is Gibraltar. Now, Gibraltar has a built-in shield to his gear, right? So it's going to be really fun to see how that's. You know, it reminds me of. You know, when you have like a movie character, an action movie character from back in the day that has something that's very specific to them. Let's try. I'm trying to think of one now. So let's say you go back to X-Men. X-Men's a really good example, right? Cyclops never takes off his goggles, right? Cyclops will never take off his goggles. It doesn't matter where he is, because if he takes them off, he's going to blast people, because that's why Cyclops in the X-Men wears his goggles. He needs his goggles because it's part of controlling his mutant ability to blast these extremely powerful laser beams out of his eyes from a different dimension, by the way, because that's how Cyclops' ability works. That's why he's got this infinite energy that comes out of his eyes, right? He's actually using it from a different dimension that's somewhere in his head or something like that. So like the same way that Nightcrawler goes to a different dimension when he teleports. But that's a different story for a different topic. But what I'm saying is Cyclops can't take his goggles off, and it's the same with some of the legends and their abilities. They are built into their actual character. Like, you can't remove certain things from that character because they need it. So it creates this really fun scenario where they're on a beach and they're soaking up some rays, for example, or maybe they're at the side of the pool side and they're just about to get in the water, or just soaking their feet or whatever in the water, and they still have their Apex Legends gear on them while they're in their swimsuit outfits. And it's like those sort of movie scenes where the bad guy finds them when they're on holiday, and then they've still got to manage to fight off the bad guy sort of thing. And then they have this really cool scene where they're pulling out their gear from places where you didn't think they were hidden. Like, you know, Cyclops is a bad example. Let's say Gambit, for example. I'm using X-Men as an example here. Imagine you know, Gambit pulls out some cards from somewhere you didn't think they were, and he's just throwing up his cards. Let's say the Apex Legends do the same sort of thing where they're in the swimsuit outfits, and then all of a sudden Wraith will just have like a kunai and she cuts like something in a kunai, or maybe Valkyrie's still got her jetpack on and she's gone for a fly. Like, do you get what I mean? Like, there's things like that will really fit in, and it really does give a completely different feel to our Apex Legends as they are at the moment. It's like, yes, man, they're letting a load off, but they're still ready for battle. You know what I mean? So that's a really, really cool part of what should happen here. Now, I think the thing with Gibraltar is his stance, how he usually, because you also have their natural stances as well. So the legends also have their natural stances, how they stand, how they move, how they run is very specific to them, right? Even though they have to be at the same pace because of how the game plays, the animation and what they do, how they do it, and what they say is also built to those specific characters. Now, Gibraltar has a stance like a sumo wrestler. He stands like a sumo wrestler. But what would a sumo wrestler wear to a beach? You get what I mean? Like, what would a sumo wrestler wear to a beach? Would he still be wearing a sumo outfit? Would he be wearing a larger swim outfit? Like, how would he be wearing that? So that's sort of like Gibraltar's stance, even though he's more of like a Samoan sort of character, like, because I think, you know, because you can get some background on your legends as well. You can literally read up on their background of the legends, so there may be some inaccurate information that I've just given there to the background of Gibraltar, but it's sort of the aesthetic that Gibraltar gives. He gives a sort of you know, like a Samoan sort of background to a character, you know, sort of if you think to The Rock, or you think to, you know, some Samoans that are very famous, that's the sort of, you know, the haka, New Zealand haka sort of stance that he sort of has. So yeah, man, there's also all of that as well that comes into play in terms of how the character stands, what's with them. I mean, Lifeline, for example, would still have Doc with her somewhere, and maybe Doc is getting some sunscreen on it. But when it comes to swimsuit outfits, it's like, what's the setting? So it seems like there might be an actual entire scene that could be played out in terms to justify these skins, or like, you know, in terms of the Apex Legends story, or there might be some part of the story that's implemented into the next season. I mean, you still have, like, at the moment we're in Revelry right now, right? And the season Revelry, and we still have 47 days of this season of Revelry, right? So will these swimsuits be introduced in Revelry in this season of Apex Legends? The reason why they might be, right, and the reason why they might be introduced at this point is because there was no new legend introduced at the start of this season. There was no new legend, right? And I thought it was really odd. I was like, why? Every season of Apex Legends since its inception, I played Apex Legends from day one, right? The first legend that I used was Lifeline, right? And there was no introduction of a legend on this season, right? There was none, right? We've dropped the numbers and we've gone for names, right? So, you know, it used to be season 11, season 12, season 13. We've dropped the numbers, right? So Respawn and EA have been planning for something for a little while now, and they've been planning towards it. The internal changes that I did mention is some of the testers are now no longer with Apex Legends and Respawn, and that's probably because there's a different, you know, there's tech layoffs anyway, but there have been some internal changes. There's also been some changes to the game. Now Apex is still at the point where it can still get to the absolute pinnacle of you know, the peak of the mountain in terms of the gaming industry. It can still get up there, right, because it's still there, and people have been sleeping on it slightly, because I think that Apex have literally taken, like, they took a slight step back. But I do know that even with that step back, behind the scenes, they've been working on something, right? And some of the voice actors that I follow on social media for Apex Legends, they've also been putting some work in, right? And I've been noticing them putting some work in, and they have been slightly teasing but not revealing what they've been working on. And I think that's Apex Legends, and it's just been recently that that work has been put in. So I do think one that is confirmed for me to definitely have a swimsuit outfit is Lifeline, and I think that she might have some voice lines in terms of her swimsuit outfit. And Lifeline is definitely going to be up there as to one of the legends that will definitely be a top pick in terms of a swimsuit outfit. But again, there are those hilarious ones. Now we have some thick boys as well in Apex Legends. For example, we have Caustic, man. Dude's got a little bit of weight behind him. Now, what's Caustic gonna wear in terms of a swimsuit outfit? Like, he could have like a sort of a Beetlejuice sort of like you know, in Beetlejuice, if you've ever seen Beetlejuice the movie, I'm pretty sure there's a scene where Beetlejuice wears like a slumber outfit, right? And when Beetlejuice is wearing his slumber outfit, it sort of gives like a swimming outfit kind of feel. If you think back to like an Uncle Fester kind of outfit, right? So Uncle Fester at one point has gone swimming. I feel like that's the sort of outfit that Caustic would wear if he goes in a swimsuit outfit. It would be in a sort of one piece with shorts at the bottom. So do you get what I mean? One piece shorts with like, and it would be like, you know, like it would be really dull coloured with like stripes. Do you get what I mean? I feel like that's sort of something that Caustic would kind of wear. It would be like for practicality, but it would also like cover his tom-tom a little bit, you know what I mean? I feel like that's something that Caustic would wear, and it would be within his character. And then he'd also have like a snorkel. The reason why I think Caustic would have a snorkel is because it would completely fit his character, because remember, he wears a respirator and goggles to protect him from his gas, right? So it would make sense if he's wearing goggles and a snorkel instead of his respirator, right? So, or a sort of like a different, you know, a technical snorkel where he's sort of protected from his gas, and his snorkel is what's protecting from his gas. So there are some really hilarious takes that could be done with this as well. That's an example of how Caustic can be done. Now Rampart definitely can be experimented with, because one of her main gears that she wears is her Sheila. Now Sheila is at the back of her, so her derriere is quite covered, but the complete front of her can be a complete swimsuit, and it could be a variety of different swimsuits that she can wear. If we go through her outfits, most of the time she does have like a breastplate on top. So it seems like what she might have is a bikini bra as her breastplate maybe, and then the rest of it is just literally a swimsuit showing off her legs, because it looks like that Rampart is mostly legs. She's a long-legged character. Her legs are really long and slender, so Rampart's appeal is definitely going to be her legs in terms of her swimsuit, because she's all legs, baby. And she's also got that sort of swim girl, sort of beach girl look when she's chewing her gum, with that really resting sort of laid back sort of appeal personality that she has. So it really does fit if she's sort of like a bubblegum girl, long slender legged character in her swimsuit outfit. So her legs should definitely be revealed in terms of her swimsuit outfit when Rampart has a swimsuit outfit. Now, there is a voice line that I did capture with Rampart, and sometimes I try to capture it again. Now, Rampart's voice line, she actually does reveal that she has had some sort of relationship with Mirage at some point, and the reason why I have not been able to capture that again is because whenever I capture it, I'm either not recording or I'm just sort of bouncing in and out of a game, and somebody happens to have chosen Mirage at that time, and then I'll just miss the line. But there is a secret voice line between Rampart and Mirage where she talks about the relationship that she had with Mirage. And yeah, so they had a moment, they had a fling, and she comments on that, and also Mirage does also comment back on that as well. So that'd be really cool to see that if there is a different voice line in terms of when they have their swimsuit outfits on and they're having a conversation about that, because there are those conversations in Apex Legends, and you can find them when you put certain legends together on a squad. So when they're on a squad, if you have Rampart and Mirage in the same squad, you will hear that voice line occasionally, but it is quite a rare voice line. But I have managed to listen to it, but I haven't been able to capture it. So Rampart's definitely going to be one. Well, I think she's going to be wearing a bikini. Be really cool to see how they implement her swimsuit outfit with Sheila on the back there, because Sheila is it's a heavy gear. So how that's going to be implemented will be really, really cool. We'll see how that's done. She's definitely all legs, so legs is going to be the appeal of Rampart in that category there. That's well thought out as well. There are some culture reasons why that is a huge thing as well. So that'd be really cool to see how that's implemented. That'd be really cool to see how that's done. Now, Horizon, I haven't used Horizon quite a lot. Horizon's going to have sort of like a slightly more mature intellectual look to her swimsuit outfit, which actually could be quite appealing. Right, so I'm going to quickly go into Horizon right now. Right, Horizon is also all legs. Now she's quite leggy as well. So just like Rampart, she's like it's not just that though. It's her mannerisms. Right, so I think she's just going to be straight bikini, right? Because her mannerisms and how she is sort of like curious, intellectual, not timid, but just constantly looking around. But she also has a very feminine walk and run, right? So it's like how she's going to look in her swimsuit outfit. She might be a dark horse of this category. She might be a dark horse of these skins if she's implemented and if she has a swimsuit outfit. I think she's going to really, really stand out. It's going to really, really show off her character, and it's going to really, really push up her character as well, because she isn't a top pick, but with her swimsuit outfit, she might be one of the top picks and one of the top picks of the community. She might be a dark horse just like Rampart because of those legs, and we'll see how that's implemented. In terms of her curves and her derriere, she hasn't got too much derriere back there, but of course this could be because of the slight movement she does have occasionally. It might actually come into play, but of course she has those thrusters at the back of her that does cover her derriere as well. So she's not too curvy, she is quite legs, and she does have those long legs just like Rampart. So she might be the dark horse right there. Will she be wearing a swim cap? I don't think so, but if we go through her character design, she doesn't actually wear too much on her head quite often anyway, except for her goggles. So there could be swimming goggles that she also wears on top of her head, not all over her eyes, because her face is always revealed in her skins. I haven't yet found a skin where her face is covered. I mean, I'm going to quickly go through the legendary skins right here. I haven't really found any of her skins that cover her face. So most likely it's going to be goggles that are on top of her head, if anything, if there's any gear that's interfering with her facial features when she's wearing a swimsuit outfit. let's keep going and dissecting here. You also have Catalyst. Now, Catalyst is a sort of, she has some dark emo quite colours most of the time. So I'm going to go quickly into Catalyst now. We're going to quickly dissect what her swimsuit outfit could look like. Now, she has these tubes that come out in every single one of her skins. There are these tubes, and it's to do with the sort of a fluid that she has with her abilities. Now, with that, I think the tubes that she could have in terms of a swimsuit version of her outfit could be, again, something to do with snorkel tubes or diving gear. Maybe might be something like, you know, it could be something to do with diving gear, but it could be also some form of like rubber straw thing that she could be using, right? And it could be quite colourful. So I think that it would completely give her a different look in terms of her colours. I think although she normally has quite some emo colours and a dark tone to her in a swimsuit outfit, she could probably still pull this off. But there could also be a colourful version as well, because with some of her legendary skins, and I think that this, you know, these swimsuit skins should be legendary because they already sound legendary as it is. I think that Catalyst might have more colour added to her skin, and that could completely give her a different feel in terms of the swimsuit outfit that she has, because most of her epic and her legendary skins have more colour variation to them. Still quite mute, because they need to be in terms of her character, but I think this might have some more colour to it. What colour her hair is going to be, I don't know. She has quite short hair, and she normally uses some highlights, if anything, and sometimes in her legendary skins there might be some more colour added to them, but she does have quite a dark aesthetic to her. She's normally quite dark haired with highlights at the most, and in terms of her skins she's normally quite mute and dark as well. So we're going to see how that's going to be implemented as well. In terms of the implementation, this is going to be really interesting. Now, Valkyrie, one of the top picks of what people want in terms of swimsuit skins. We're going to quickly click into Valkyrie now. I've mentioned her earlier. She always has her thrusters on her, but when she's also flying as well, it's going to be really interesting to see how they implement her flying gear with her swimsuit costume. Like, how is she, like, what's it going to look like? What colours is she going to have? Now, there is a lot of variation you can do in terms of Valkyrie, in terms of her colours, because she does have, you know, different themes to her. There's the aerial evolution, which is entirely pink. Like, it's a lot of pinks and purples there to her outfit, aerial evolution. There is also her more robotic and you know, green mutes and some golden outfits that she also has. But I think these swimsuit outfits are going to really set a benchmark in terms of the direction Apex Legends is going in. I'm very glad it's going in this direction, by the way, and I think everybody's really going to appreciate this direction that Apex Legends is taking, and Respawn is taking, and EA is taking with Apex Legends. This is a good direction, very smart, very well thought out, and it must have taken quite a while to design these skins. But these are definitely points that we do need to talk about here, because it's definitely going to be, if it's done wrong, it could be ripped apart by the community, and the community could be like clamoring for more. I think that you could actually make quite a few variations of swimsuit outfits for these skins. I don't think there's like a one formula for it. There's so many different variations on a swimsuit outfit you could do, and especially if like one becomes like very popular, it could be like, well, we want a different version of it. We want a different version of those swimsuit outfits. Like, you've got, like, you know, there's so much to go through. Let's talk about Mirage real quick. So as you know, in terms of the abilities and what's being used with the characters, if you're brighter, you are more likely to be seen as well. So in terms of like Mirage, it goes into your favor. You want to be seen as Mirage because you want people to be shooting at your Mirages. You want people to be shooting at your clones. So the brighter, the better. So with Mirage, if he's just completely topless and he's got nothing below that stands out, he might actually blend into the environment a lot more. So in terms of the skin and how it looks on the battlefield, that is also going to be really important in terms of the swimsuit outfits. So if Mirage is just wearing literally just trunks, just swimming trunks or swimming shorts, it probably won't go down well. He needs something that stands out slightly different to him, something that's like slightly different. Now, with the male skins, it's actually quite harder, because when we wear swimsuit outfits, there's not much to go by. We're literally just going to wear either shorts or swimming trunks. So in terms of what's being worn, in terms of the swimsuit outfits with the male skins, how is it going to be implemented? What's going to be implemented differently is if we've got abs or not, if the character's muscly or not. if the, you know, those sort of things, it's going to run down to the body, isn't it? It's going to come down to how the body looks, you know. So is Mirage going to be completely absed up? Is he going to have like an 8-pack underneath there? Is he going to look like an action figure underneath there? Like, that might be the thing in terms of Mirage, because we've already seen Fuse topless. We've already seen what Fuse is like. He's sort of like a Terminator body build. Like, he's sort of like a strongman Terminator body build. As I said, Gibraltar is also going to be sort of like a sumo wrestler type build. He's going to be like really hench, like, you know what I mean? He's going to have some deltoids for days, bro. So I think that Mirage's strength and what could be Mirage's thing is probably having abs, but he might go the other direction. He might have a bit of a podge belly. That might be the case with him, or he might be all chest. He might have he might be ripped underneath there. Like, that's probably where that's going to go with that. So who knows how Mirage is going to be implemented? What's his hair going to be looking like? Is he going to have like slick back hair because he's been underwater? Who knows? In the skin that I'm using for him, he has dreads. So you definitely have the opportunity to mess around with Mirage's hair quite a bit. Also, in terms of his facial hair, like, he has quite a few variations of his facial hair. He normally has his goatee that connects up to his sideburns. That's normally the facial hair that you have with Mirage. But of course, this could be played around with quite a lot in terms of a swimsuit outfit as well. So there's so much to go through. Wraith. Let's look into Wraith a little bit now, because we've gone through Valkyrie, so I've just accidentally mentioned Valkyrie. Now, in terms of Wraith, she has her face covered in many of her skins with a sort of like face mask, but there are also ones where she has her face revealed. Now, if you're going to go swimming, you're not going to be wearing a face mask. It's not going to be something that you're going to be wearing in the water if you're going swimming. But if you're on a beach, of course, again, you're trying to catch some rays or something, you're not going to be wearing a scarf or a face mask. She pretty much often wears with Wraith, she often wears a scarf. Now, when you're wearing a scarf, it's going to cover up the top half of your neck. It's going to cover a part of your neck and your chest. Now, her scarf covers up a part of her neck and her chest. Now, she does, you know, I would say, out of the female skin, she is on the busty side in terms of anything up top there. So I feel like, actually, she could be a top pick as well because of this, because she does have some curves to her. Now, I've just seen a skin that I have for her that looks really good. I'm going to use that, by the way. It's called Galactic Navigator. I like that skin. So I've just completely changed her skin for what I'm using for Wraith right there, because that looks really cool. I really like that. So the thing that's also going to stand out for Wraith as well is what her hair looks like, because of course normally her hair is played around with quite often depending on what skin you're using and what storyline you're following with her. For example, Liberator is completely bald, and there are skins where she has grey hair. There are skins where she has her hair tied up in a top knot. There are skins where she always seems to have her hair tied up in a top knot, actually. So what happens when her hair is down? Is Wraith going to be one of those characters that is going to have a different hairstyle that comes into play when she's wearing a swimsuit outfit? Again, I think she could be a top pick because there are some gamers who really like Wraith and who really appreciate Wraith. Again, not the absolute top pinnacle, but she's definitely right up there in terms of what could be used. Now, Octane is definitely going to be one of those comedic swimsuit costumes, because when you see Octane flying through the air, even if it was in a cinematic trailer for these skins, could you imagine Octane flying through the air in a really comedic way wearing a swimsuit outfit? I mean, Octane's one of those easier ones to do in terms of what he's going to be wearing as a swimsuit outfit. Now, we've seen Octane slightly without a mask, I think. I think there's been a point earlier on, again in the comic books. Now, what tends to happen with Octane, if you go through his character design, most of the time he's wearing his facial mask and goggles. Now, he could still be wearing swimming goggles. He could wear swimming goggles for a swimsuit outfit, so that could cover his eyes. In terms of his face mask, will he have a slight face reveal? Again, just like Bloodhound, there are different elements to Octane where Octane has his face covered and he does not reveal his face at all. If you go through every single one of his skins, he covers his mouth. His mouth is never revealed. So who knows what's under that mouth there, because as you know, it goes into his character for how he breathes, and part of the reason why he's able to run quickly with his stim. He uses something to do with his mouth as well, which is the reason why most of the time his mouth is covered, and even with his legendary skins he will have some variation of something covering his mouth. So will this be the time where it changes? Is there going to be a change to that? Is you know, Octane finally going to reveal his mouth, or is he going to be wearing a sort of diving gear over his mouth in terms of his swimsuit outfit? Again, this is why these skins are so great, and this is why it's going to be such a big thing. Now, with the store itself and the rotation of these skins, are we going to have like all of these skins with swimsuit outfits? Again, we have Bangalore. So in terms of Bangalore, she's going to have a really, like, her stance is going to be really sort of army marshal sort of thing going on with her. Sky marshal. She's going to have like a sort of a sergeant look to her. She's going to have that weapon on her shoulder. Now I think she's really I'm not sure she's going to be mid, but she could have some variation to her in terms of a swimsuit outfit, because she does have that sort of, you know, that domineering kind of presence to her. So she could, like, even if there was like a cinematic, she could sort of like, you know, stand up, soldier, we might be on holiday, but stand up. And she's got like a sort of rigid, now that could be quite appealing when she's in a bikini. Now could you imagine her in a bikini? Now because she's constantly training, she could be a ripped female skin. Now of course she could have quite a few muscles underneath the outfit there. Now I think it's going to be easier to design her in terms of showing a little bit more skin when she's wearing a swimsuit outfit. But what would she choose? It's more about her character, and it's more about what she would choose as an outfit and her personality when she's wearing that swimsuit. I think that's what's going to be the thing for Bangalore, and it's going to make her stand out. Is she going to be wearing any makeup? Now if I look through most of her skins, she won't wear makeup. There's not a lot of times where she wears makeup. There is sometimes some sort of, like, you know, like she has like a scowl about, she has like a menacing face about her where she means business most of the time. There's not really any makeup that she normally really wears, and of course if you go and swimming, it's going to be leaking on her face. One thing that I've just thought about is that in terms of like Catalyst, right, she could literally have leaking makeup on her face, right? That could be a thing, right? She could literally have leaking makeup on her face, right? That could be something that can be done with swimsuit outfits, is that with their characters, if they have any sort of design on their face in terms of like paint or something that does not go, could you imagine that if water has touched it, it looks like it's leaking as well as the swimsuit outfit? That is something that could also go into these character designs as well. We also have some of the boys down here that I haven't touched on yet. Crypto. Now Crypto, how Crypto is going to be designed is, of course, Crypto has normally a lot of necklaces, and there's slightly like an android look to him most of the time. So I'm going to quickly click into Crypto, because Crypto is connected to his drone. He does have some connections to his drone, and he looks like he has some cybernetic advancements to his body. So in terms of his swimsuit outfit, if he's taking off some of his clothes, I feel like if you do take a closer look at him, so I'm trying to get a closer look here so I can zoom in, he does have some cybernetic advancements to his ear and his jawline, right? If that's a part of his body, in terms of the rest of his body as well, we may find out when he wears a swimsuit outfit, we might find out that he has a cybernetic, half a cybernetic body under there. There might be cybernetic arms, like, because he normally puts his hand in his pocket as well when he's moving around. Now you can, you know, do a weapons check. You can inspect your weapons. Now there is a skin where he reveals a part of his chest, and it's called Hype Beast. Now with Hype Beast, you can see a part of his chest and some of his abs. He has a plaster on his abs, but on his right pectoral, he also has some cybernetic advancement there, where you can see some robotic advancement. So it is a theme with Crypto that he has some cybernetic advancements. Now where on his body else there is more cybernetic advancements, we don't know. Now you can see from his neck area, it's definitely coming down his neck, but we could have a different variation of this. He could have some more around on his body that he isn't revealing, which could be the reason why he always puts his arms and his hands in his pockets. He always does that when he runs, so who knows, there might be some more to his body where he has some cybernetic advancements. And then into my guy Sia, right? So Sia has his chest, that is always where his he calls it his heart, right? So he has something where he is able to survey the surrounding area by letting out these star sort of robots out of his chest, which he calls his heart, right? And it's parts of his heart that he can actually harm other players with and so forth. But he does has his fluent sort of limber dancer movement that he does have. Now what that's going to look like with a swimsuit outfit on, I'm not 100% sure just yet, but he does have abs. He 100% does have abs, because you've seen those abs. It's definitely going to make some of the females, that female gamers, maybe pick him as one of the top picks for them if they're into males. So he has a 4-pack ab, I think it is. It's definitely a 4. I think it's like a 4-pack. Like, he also has his eyes as well, so maybe he has his bright blue eyes, so maybe they can play on that in terms of his design where he's wearing a swimsuit outfit, and his whole theme is all about, making them look at you in terms of like what he is like, and so it's going to be really interesting to see how they play off that in terms of his personality, where he's wearing his swimsuit outfit. So it's going to be really interesting to see what they do with Sierra in these terms, and if he even has a swimsuit outfit. And I mean, as I said, like, are they going to implement all of them straight away? Are we going to get all of the swimsuit outfits? There are some that if they don't implement straight away, then it's going to be an issue. The gaming community is going to be like, whoa, hold on, where's my Loba? So that's definitely going to be a thing. If Loba is not introduced, it's going to definitely be a thing. Now, Ash is completely cybernetic. There is no really human elements to her in terms of her body, just like Revenant, but with Ash, as opposed to Revenant, it won't be as much of a comedic push, but it could be something that they push as a comedic thing, where she's trying to wear a swimsuit outfit, or she just painted on a swimsuit outfit and has slight swimsuit elements to her. So who knows how that goes down with her. She doesn't actually have feet as well. She has like stilts, right? Metal stilts, right? So that's also going to be really interesting to see how the swimsuit actually fits in with that aesthetic as well. She also has her blade on the back, which could be quite a good aesthetic to have with her swimsuit outfit. But it's going to be really interesting to see how they do that with her, because it's literally, normally what happens with her skin is, normally with the common skins, it's normally just a design on her robotic plates. But if you go up into her legendaries, it's a completely different redesign that she normally has. Like, she'll have like, there's not really clothing, but there is sort of like, I'm not sure how to explain it, but there'll be straps and buckles that are hanging off her slightly from her chest area. She doesn't have much human elements to her, but there is a way that you can actually design her to have a swimsuit outfit. If you think back to the old dolls and action figures, there was sometimes the way the dolls were designed, they would sometimes paint a bikini on the doll designs because they couldn't design the actual bikini of that character on those dolls. And I think that's kind of the direction you might go with Ash in terms of her. It will be designed on top of her, or into her design, maybe as a robotic bikini. Could you imagine her just like taking off the plates of her robotic body and replacing them? And I think that's kind of what the direction is of where they would go with that. Would they change the color of some of her plates to look like a mute skin color? I don't know, but is that a direction they could go? I mean, what color is Ash, because she's a robot? So is it going to be like completely silver? That's something that they would have had to have thought about there. They could lean into the voice actors as well in terms of this, because normally sometimes there are some elements about the characters that are similar to the voice actors of those characters as well in Apex Legends, so that could be a thing. Now, Mad Maggie is definitely going to be a mad one, and I tell you why, because Mad Maggie has a personality where I'm not sure the direction they could go. I mean, she does remind me of like a WWE diva, right? So I feel like the direction they will go in terms of Mad Maggie is the direction of what a WWE diva would wear as a bikini, in terms of like, I'm trying to think of one, like Shayna Baszler, I think her name is, or who's another one that's similar to her body shape. Shayna Baszler is a really good example, to be honest, of like I think that's her name, Shayna Baszler. I think that's the WWE Diva's name. I might have it wrong, but she really does have that sort of body frame about her. That's the type of body frame that Mad Maggie sort of has, a sort of slender, more of a slender version. She's sort of like a wrestler, like a physical wrestler, and that's the sort of body frame that Mad Maggie kind of has. I can see her literally entering NXT, right? That's I can literally see her entering the NXT arena as a WWE diva. That's making her way up in the ranks of WWE, and that's the kind of aesthetic that sort of Mad Maggie sort of has. Now that's the sort of look that she will have as if she wears a swimsuit outfit, so I think that's the direction that she would go. Now what she would wear on her feet, I'm not 100% sure, because she normally wears some heavy boots, and you can't wear heavy boots if you're in a swimsuit outfit because it just wouldn't go, right? So it's like, well, that's the part where it's going to be, the struggle of designing her in a swimsuit outfit and where that would go, because in every single one of her skin variations she wears those boots and they do not change, right? There's occasionally where they change when you get slightly higher into the epic and the legendaries, but normally it's still the same shape. So that's going to be a completely different redesign when you're designing her as a swimsuit skin. She could be wearing something that's like, her being her personality and wearing like shades, like some big shades, and she's just catching some rays and being like, I'm too cool for school, wearing my shades, not even going to put on any goggles when I go swimming, I'm still going to put on my glasses. I don't know where you're going with yourself. Like, that's the sort of thing that Mad Maggie might do as well, because that's also in her personality. So that's probably the direction that should go. She reminds me of like a sunbathing sort of character. She would be sort of like sunbathing and not being bothered to move until she's ready to move, in a sort of, I'm wearing my shades, I've got my hair slicked back and tied back, I've got my glasses on, and I'm catching some rays with my sun cream. So that's probably the direction they will go with her, because that's also how she stands as well. One hand on her hip, always clenched fists. That's Mad Maggie, and probably the direction that they were going with her. So Mad Maggie's I think she's slightly easier. It's her lower half that's going to be slightly difficult in terms of her design and where they will go with that. We also have Newcastle. Now, of course, Newcastle is more towards the Gibraltar because he's a support type character and he has a sort of a stronger stance. Now, I think the direction that he would go in is it's sort of like a square look. He's kind of a square, isn't he? He's going to have a big beard, but he's going to be on a beach, but he's going to be a kind of square about it. He's sort of like a square character, isn't he? But he has his head covered the whole time because he has that masked outfit. I don't think they will remove that because I don't think it would make sense unless you was to put like some really, really heavy goggles on him. Like, I don't know how you replace what he's wearing on his head as part of his character design in terms of putting him in a swimsuit outfit. I do know that you could probably reveal his chest and his arms and the rest of his body in terms of a swimsuit outfit. I feel like that would just really, really make sense for his character, even though, you're using him to be a protective. But this is a fantasy type of creation. This is basically what is going to be happening in Apex Legends. This is a fantasy. This is a fantasy for the gamers that the developers have decided to lean into. So that's how I think Newcastle will be done. It will be sort of like a square stance, both hands on hips he has most of the time, and he's sort of like in a superhero, sort of a square superhero. So I'm trying to figure out a superhero that's like similar to, he's sort of like not a Superman, because Superman is overly optimistic usually in terms of his comic book design. He's quite of an overly optimistic character. Now Newcastle is like that, but more in like a drill sergeant. Like, he's an overly optimistic drill sergeant, if that makes sense. Like, that's sort of his personality, and he's sort of like giddy about it. He's like happy-go-lucky. Yeah, let's get this, guys. Like, that's kind of how he is. He's like a Power Ranger. Like, that's what he is. He's like a Power Ranger. Like, Newcastle is basically kind of like a Power Ranger. So it's kind of like, you imagine the Power Rangers with their helmets and they don't take them off, but with the swimsuit outfit on. That's going to be Newcastle. That's going to be what Newcastle is doing. Let's get them, guys. It's morphin' time. That's basically Newcastle. so that's how Newcastle's going to be, with a slight more of a stocky persona. He's going to be stocky, not as big as Gibraltar, but he's definitely going to have some weight behind him in terms of mass and muscle mass. So we're going to have some muscle mass behind him. It's going to be really interesting to see how he's developed and how he's designed as well, if he gets a swimsuit outfit. And then we have, of course, the absolute top pick, right? We've gone through all of the rest. We've gone through all of the rest on the design and what I think could be implemented or how it could be implemented, things that we want. Also, let me know down in the comment section down below what you want and how you want these swimsuit designs to be done. But of course, the absolute top pick is the curvy, voluptuous Loba. So of course, as you know, Loba is a sort of mistress character. She has a cane, she has those curvy hips, and she also has a curvy derriere. Now, this is definitely one of the top appeals of Apex Legends, simply because of her design, not even to mention her voice lines and how she acts in the game. But of course, this is definitely one of the top picks of the game. Loba is one of the top feet, like the you know, in terms of the swimsuit outfit, she's definitely going to be one of the pinnacle. Now, of course, she's definitely going to set the benchmark. There could be those dark horses that really do make a mark in terms of this, but with Loba, her design and her curves at the back of her is definitely, she's the Chun-Li in terms of the design in Apex Legends of why swimsuit outfits are requested by the community. Loba is definitely one of the top picks in terms of this, and she is going to be an absolute dark horse. Now, her thing and Loba's thing, I think 100% is definitely going to be just any swimsuit outfit is going to do, really. So it's just like, how well can they do it? This is literally going to be, how well can they do Loba? The better they do Loba, the better the swimsuit outfits are going to perform overall. Are they going to deliver her straight away? I think they need to. When they release these skins, they can't not, because if they miss the mark with this, then it's going to be an issue, right? In terms of like shoes and what they're wearing in terms of their shoes, again, I'm not sure if she's going to have any of her feet out in terms of it. She normally wears heels. She wears these high heels. Of course, she's a mistress, is how she is, right? So she's normally wearing these block heels. So will they be changing it up and switching it up about her? We do not know. That's another thing that in where they're going to have to focus. She normally has quite a lot of nail varnish on, so I think that they're going to lean into that, but the nail varnish normally matches the aesthetic of what she's wearing. So in terms of her bikini, or not a bikini, but swimsuit outfit, which swimsuit outfit is she going to wear? Now, of course, because occasionally she likes to wear a small jacket waistcoat and a corset occasionally, or sometimes she wears a corset. If we go up through her outfits now, sometimes she might wear a corset. Yes, so she definitely wears a corset every now and then. So it's like, you know, in a swimsuit outfit, you're not really, there are corset types of swimsuit outfits, but would people want this from Loba in Apex Legends? Is this something that you want covered in terms of her design with a swimsuit outfit in Apex Legends? This is definitely going to be those little intricacies and details that are going to make the difference in terms of her design, and it's definitely really going to set the benchmark in terms of the swimsuit outfits in terms of Loba. So Loba's a top pick. The articles even mention Loba as one of the actual like part of the headline in terms of the designs of these swimsuit outfits. So it's definitely going to be Loba who needs to be in these packages. So if you go into the store and the design of these skins in the store, when they are released, if Loba is not there, it's going to be a huge issue. The community is going to stand up and say something. They're going to be like, no, where is she? So they have to hit the mark with this, or have different variations of a swimsuit outfit for Loba, and that is definitely going to be one of the biggest pulls for these gamers when they're going to want to get back into Apex Legends, when these swimsuit skins are available. Right, so there's another article here that we're going to go through, and it says, Respawn hints at Loba swimsuit skin, thirsty Apex fans rejoice. So just like I've just mentioned, Loba is definitely going to be one of the benchmarks that they have to hit in terms of the design of these swimsuit outfits. Let's read on slightly here to see what this article is saying by Claire Lewis. Right, so this says, Apex Legends players who have been hoping to see Loba in a swimsuit may soon have their prayers answered. Literally, prayers. As an official Apex Legends Twitter account tweeted what appears to be a hint at the skin's impending arrival earlier today. Now, that was yesterday. I'm here in the morning recording this for you straight away, right? Because I slept on it, because I needed to get my energy back up before I made this podcast episode. Let's read on to see what else is said here. It says, Respawn asked fans of the game to like the tweet, promising players would soon be able to get their hands on the swimsuit skin. So as I mentioned earlier on in the earlier part of this podcast, it was basically if we get 10k likes, that was well and achieved very quickly. That was no problem at all, right? So it's literally, they knew that that was going to be achieved. They knew that 10k likes was going to be a thing. It's like if I've designed a game and I know that it's a poll that's going to be more than 10k likes, that's just literally the team being like, we have this already. 10k likes is going to be quite easy for this. Let's just see how they react to this change. So that's basically what's happened there. They have these skins designed, they probably are ready to go, and that's probably why we didn't get a new legend for this season here. So this is very, very interesting, because I do pay attention to Apex Legends even when we're doing everything else as well, because it's definitely one of the staples in the gaming community, and it's also been a part of the channel as well. So if you're on my YouTube channel, you would know that Apex Legends has been part of my YouTube channel as well. Let's keep continuing to read through here to show some more of this information of what's being said. It says, see you tomorrow. The final sentence of the second tweet reads, suggesting news about the new pool party themed cosmetic set is on the horizon. Right, so I didn't read that. There's a second tweet. I got excited about the first tweet, so I will have a look at that in a moment. Right, so that's the reason why we'll do that right now. So I'm just going to quickly go into that second tweet to see what's being said here on the official Apex Legends Twitter page. Right, so apparently there was a second tweet that was given. Now we have something about Hot Ones. Now Hot Ones, what's this one? So Hot Ones is a channel, is a show where celebrities go on and they eat hot chicken wings and they ask hot questions, right? I watch Hot Ones. It's a very good show, by the way. And basically, this is a tweet about that. And I think one of the voice actors is actually on Hot Ones. So let's quickly have a look here. I think it might be, okay, it might be a gamer. It's a gamer that plays Apex Legends, I think. So that's what that one is. Right, so that second tweet is, right, hit in 10 minutes. Y'all are wild. We clearly should have asked for 100k, but a deal is a deal. See you tomorrow. So oh my days, this might be coming today at some point, so I'm going to get this podcast episode out right now. This is where I'm going to end it, because I need to get this edited and up for you guys, because I will be showing off these skins if they are released today. So with that said, don't forget that the A Video Game Podcast is here for you. I've been uploading these episodes right here. Check them out on my YouTube channel. This is where you can find the podcasts, right here. See you in the next one. Thank you for listening. Let me know your thoughts on this change coming to Apex Legends. And as you can tell, I'm excited. Let's get into this right now. This is going to be dope. See you in the next one. Thank you for listening. You guys are absolutely awesome. Join in the discussion. Let's go Apex Legends.